Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tamara Jordan, Tammy Turns Pages, and I'm so glad that you are here and that you clicked on today's video. Today I'm going to be doing my August, I almost said July, good God, August wrap up. I had 5 books that I was supposed to read in August. They were all arcs. I've finished them all, so I'm going to wrap them up. And then I thought we'd do something fun and do a little fall TBR, like what I want to read this fall. I'm going to start right away and just start off with the first book. These aren't going to be in the order that I read them in. So the first book is The Secret Crush Book Club. This is by Carmen Lee. This is actually the third in a series, and it all follows sisters, I think. I haven't read the other ones. I've just read this one, and I did enjoy this one a lot. So this follows 2 main characters. There are 2 points of view. The first point of view is Danny. She's a single mom. She has recently, or pretty recently, gotten out of a not so great relationship, and she is divorced. She has a child, and she is living with her sister. Her sister decides to move out, so she starts kind of becoming lonely, and she wants connection besides, like, the connection she has with her child. So she ends up joining a book club. The other person in this story, her name is Zoe. She is a librarian, and she has a very, very, very big crush on Danny. She actually is also kind of harboring some secrets of her own that she is. Well, they both kind of are having these different aspirations in their lives, and they kind of are both trying to get to a place that they want to be in their lives. So this is sapphic. This is very short, honestly, relatively short. The book itself was 271 pages, and I think the audiobook was like 7 hours. I did enjoy this storyline. I thought this was a cute, kind of cozy story. People who love books. I love a book about books. It's so much fun. I would probably say that I would give this like a 3.25 star. It was an easy, fun, quick palate cleanser, light, not too much going on, not groundbreaking, but still fun. Yeah, I like this one. So that's the first one. So the next one is The Book of Lost Hours. This is by Haley Gelfuso. This is a debut novel, and I thought it was a very strong debut novel. This book follows our main character, Elizabeth. Yeah, I think her name is Elizabeth. She is basically being stalked by Nazis, and her dad hides her in a time-space library, so another like book about books kind of, and that's where she's hiding out. So she's in this time-space library hiding out, and then just things start happening to her, and her experiences in this time-space library are pretty crazy. There's also a second character named Amelia, and her storyline takes place a little bit later, about 30 years later. Her storyline takes place in 1965. Elizabeth's is 1938, but hers is 1965 in Boston. These 2 storylines do intersect, and they do connect, and it makes sense for them to have 2 storylines, although I'll say I didn't necessarily connect with Amelia's storyline as much as I did with Elizabeth's. And I, for a while, didn't even really understand why there were 2 storylines, but I get it now. But at the time, I was like, what is this? I will say this was very atmospheric. This was very, like, deep and dark and, like, rich. And, like, you could, like, feel it. Like, it was very immersive. However, I struggled with the 2 timelines, and sometimes I would get confused as to whose timeline I was in. And I also kind of struggled with the time-space library itself, and like what the magic system was in that time-space library. I just couldn't really, I didn't really understand it. Like, it took me time to understand it. But all in all, I do think this was a strong debut novel, and I would read from this author again. I would probably give this a 3.5. Just based on vibes too. This didn't do exactly what I wanted it to do, but it did a lot of what I wanted it to do. So yeah, I would say that was it was a win. So the next book I want to talk to you about is The Island of Last Things. This book is by Emma Slowly. This book was amazing. I actually don't even know what I was expecting from this book, but I didn't expect to love this book so much. So this is basically a dystopian world. This is a zoo that takes place in this dystopian world. It's the last zoo on Earth, and it is on Alcatraz Island. It follows basically our two main characters, Camille and Sailor. Camille is working at this last zoo, basically, and she, loves animals. She is very kind of keeps to herself. She's very private. She doesn't really like interact with other people. She just focused on the animals. When it's time to go home, she just goes home. She sleeps. She's not really not interested in connecting at all. She's like an introvert, but like an extreme introvert. She doesn't have any family members, barely, except for her mom, who's like slightly dependent on her. And that's like a big reason why she's continuing to work at this zoo, besides the fact that she loves animals. She meets Sailor, who comes from this zoo in Paris. Sailor's the complete opposite of Camille. Sailor's like a rebel, and she she wants the animals to be free and to have this and to have, rights, and, she's all about like, with the system and things like that. So Sailor's coming from the last zoo in Europe, and that zoo closes down, so Sailor comes to this zoo. They become fast friends, and Sailor starts talking Camille into things that she would not do normally, and it just goes off from there. I loved this book. I think I gave this book 5 stars. I gave this book 4.5 stars. I loved this book. I loved it. I loved everything about it. It was incredible. It was such a fun read. It was so quick. It was so easy, so immersive, so interesting. The only gripe I had was I wanted to know why they were the last zoo. I wanted to know why the last zoo was on Alcatraz Island. And I wanted just more descriptions of like what the world looked like now in this dystopian world, because we don't really get any of that. And also like what the animals were like. Like, I would love it if the animals had like mutated a little bit and got like, I don't know, that's just me being extra. But anyway, I did still a fabulous book. I will read anything else from this author. I think this was a debut novel, I think. Don't quote me on that. I think it was, but it was incredible and I loved it. So the next book is For the Record by Emma Lord. This book follows our main character, Mackenzie. She is part of like this really popular girls group, and then she's like goes solo kind of. So think Britney Spears. And then the main character, Sam, he was a part of like a very popular boy band group, and they think Justin Timberlake, and they would collab a lot in like the 90s. And basically both of them are trying to revive their careers, and the only way they think that they can revive their careers is by mashing up again and, connecting and putting out another album. However, there's a lot of bad blood between the two because something happens in the 90s that they never really recover from. And so you're kind of in the middle of like seeing them now, because it's like kind of 2 storylines, and it's also 2 points of view. So seeing them now in this timeline, and like all of their angst and anger and disappointments, all their hurt feelings, and then you're seeing them and how they got there, like in the 90s, how they got to this second place in, the timeline now. I really like this book. I like Emma Lord's writing, so I was really excited when I got the audiobook for this one. I got an audio arc for this one, and it was a fun listen. I loved it. It has that one narrator, that one male narrator. I don't remember his name. I'm obsessed with him. Whenever I hear his voice, I'm like, yes, it's him. Like, it's crazy, but like truly, he's like a warm hug. I just love the sound of his voice. What is his name? I don't know, but I will find it and maybe I'll put it up on the screen. I'm obsessed with him. And he narrates a lot of audiobooks. But yeah, anyway, but it was a fun read. It was just fun. I was kind of like thinking of Britney and Justin the whole time I was listening to it, but yeah, it was a fun read. I think I gave it 3.75 stars. Okay, so the last one is The Faceless Thing That We Adore, and this one is by Hester Steele. I have my phone with me because I sometimes am forgetting like who is who. It's been a while since I read this one. So this one follows our main character, Aoife, and she is just breaking up with her boyfriend, and she decides to like go to Europe, and when she's in Europe she meets Juliana and Larissa, and they talk to her about this like beautiful farmstead that they live on or whatever, and how like amazing it is, and how like everyone's like a community, and it's just like so perfect, and you know there's no like, you know, there's it's just like a peaceful, beautiful, serene place. And so she's like, yeah, I want that in my life because my life is crazy right now, you know? So she follows them back to this farmstead, and she starts getting kind of confused because she realizes that like everyone's like a little bit too happy, but like also like not happy, you know what I mean? Like more like scared. And they keep talking about this presence or this thing, but she's never seen him or it or whatever it is. And the leader, which is the thing that we never see or hear, like everyone's scared to like to make this thing upset, so they do certain things, you know, during their time on the farmstead. It starts getting progressively more bizarre as the time goes on, you know, when she's on the farmstead, and she starts realizing very quickly that these people are not normal, and that her position, she was basically picked for a reason. So they were like targeting her for a reason. So it just gets crazy. I didn't expect this to be, I mean, I did read the synopsis, but I didn't expect it to go where it went. I liked this book. I didn't love it just because I was expecting a little bit more from this, and it just turned out to be kind of more just, you know, culty for the most part. And, you know, there was obviously a little bit of horror slash, yeah, just like a bit of horror in there too. So yeah, it was good. I think I gave it like a 3.25. It was good. It was a decent read. Definitely check your triggers because there's some like weird things in the book. So I'm just going to leave it there. Just check your triggers. But yeah, all in all, it was a pretty good reading month. Besides just even the books that I read some other ones and they were also really good. So don't think I had any like 2s or 1s. So, or any DNFs. So yeah, that is everything that I have read the last month. I'm not going to be picking from a TBR jar this month. Sorry guys. I'm not going to be picking one for October either. Again, I'm sorry. I just have too many books that I want to read. I have too many books in my mind and on my physical TBR that I want to get to, especially other books for like videos I want to put out as well. So I'm just going to not do it. I don't want to stress myself out. And this month alone, I have 11 arcs that I need to read. 11, because I don't know why I did that to myself, but I did. So I'm just not going to put extra pressure on myself, and I'm just going to read freely, like the things I want to read. I am editing this August wrap-up video, and I realized that I didn't even end the video. So yeah, you can just tell how this week's going. But yeah, so I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please don't hesitate to like, comment, share, or subscribe to my channel. It really does wonders for such a small channel like mine. So, and then I'm gonna end it with a little bit of cat content because we got our cat a little Halloween. He's playing with it, so I'm just gonna put the camera on him now. Never mind, he decided that he didn't want to perform for us today. Have a great day.